Sister Wives Season 20 cancelled. 3 words that set the fan community into disarray. In a matter of hours, social media feeds were filled with frantic responses, never-ending speculation, and even insider leaks claims. But is it actually over? Or, and this is the part nobody's discussing, is TLC somehow strategizing something much more significant than the standard renewal? For more than a decade, Sister Wives has been one of the most controversial shows in reality television history. Love it or hate it, the Brown story pulled millions into their complicated web of marriages, divorces, betrayals, and financial disasters. And now, after Season 18's finale and the unexpected twists of Season 19, the idea that TLC would simply walk away feels almost unbelievable, unless that is the narrative they would like to believe. Following behind closed doors are reports, meetings, and production memos leaked out that paint a very different picture, something rather grander. But before we get to the proof, let's not forget the stakes. This isn't television about polygamy anymore. It is a case study in the fall of an empire. Christine leaving Kody was only the start. Janelle's quiet resistance turned into open defiance. Meri's heartbreak transformed into freedom. And through it all, Robyn and Kody fought to hold on to an image that no longer fooled anyone. So when word spread that Season 20 had been cancelled, fans immediately split into 2 camps. One camp saw it as karma, the end of a toxic story. The other suspected something evil, that TLC was keeping a grander scheme under wraps, and that the Browns were not done with reality television quite yet. And here is the jaw-dropping truth. Intermediaries close to the network tell us that TLC officials have been trying out a new format, one that could turn Sister Wives into something completely new. Agreements have reportedly been drawn up, lawyers have reportedly been engaged, and a handful of the Brown family members may have already been approached. Which raises the question, was the cancellation just a distraction? A way to throw off the trail while production gears up for the most controversial chapter yet? What we learned next left us speechless, and it might shift everything fans believed they knew about the future of Sister Wives. When rumors of cancellation initially emerged, followers readily dismissed them. TLC had already renewed Sister Wives amid scandals, plummeting ratings, and even outright lawsuits. So why halt now, just when the family drama reached maximum mayhem? But then came the evidence. Entertainment websites started quoting so-called insiders saying the network had pulled the plug. Some even posted what resembled internal memoranda implying Season 20 was off the table. And then suddenly panic became certain. Fans began wondering, had TLC finally grown tired of the Brown family? The timing was wrong, however. Season 19 had ended in a cliffhanger. Christine's second marriage was still causing shockwaves. Janelle was hinting at do-overs. Meri had signed on for spin-off projects, and Cody and Robin, desperate to rebrand their public image, were fighting harder than ever to remain in the limelight. If TLC did actually cancel the show, they would be leaving behind a goldmine of unresolved storylines that in itself raised eyebrows. But here is where it gets fishy. A source close to TLC's production calendars told us that the so-called cancellation memo wasn't even created within the network. Instead, the language was identical to papers employed by freelance contract workers. Not brass. The leak, in short, could have been faked. And that raises the question, faked by whom? There are 2 theories. The first is that TLC leaked the memo itself, intentionally spreading disinformation, in order to generate online buzz. In reality television, controversy means free promotion. By making fans think the show was cancelled, TLC might have been seeing just how much attention the Browns still had left. The second explanation is more sinister, that the leak originated within the Brown family itself. Consider it, who stands to gain the most from cancellation rumors? Cast members who need bargaining power. A cancelled show pressures the network into higher salaries, spin-off guarantees, or more control in negotiations. Either way, one thing became apparent. The cancellation buzz didn't spell the end for the Browns. If anything, it was the reverse. An indication that TLC and the family were preparing to do something much more than a typical season pickup. And then, just as the cancellation frenzy reached its crescendo, another round of leaked documents appeared. This time with explosive information about a whole other project directly connected to the Brown family. What those documents showed shocked even seasoned insiders. Behind the scenes at TLC, discussions were already being held long before fans ever caught wind of the word cancelled. While the public debated whether Sister Wives was kaput, executives were huddling in secret about a wholesale transformation. Not a finale, but an evolution. TLC has been working on what they refer to as a franchise expansion. Two different insiders tell us. Imagine it more as a franchise of interconnected spin-offs, special episodes, and limited docu-series, rather than a lone reality show. Translation: the Brown family may not be going away from television altogether. They may be multiplying, and the timing is merely coincidental. Season the 19th of March had a shift. Christine formally moved on with her new spouse. Janelle became the reserved fan favorite, symbolizing independence and strength. Meri, after decades of devastation, hinted at ultimately taking back her voice. And Kody, from being the focal patriarch, was now rebranded as the fallen hero. For TLC, this is gold. A single show can only stretch so far, but split those stories into multiple angles, and suddenly you have twice the content, twice the drama, and twice the revenue. So here's the bombshell. TLC has allegedly been drafting contracts for a three-pronged expansion. Christine's new life, a spin-off focused on her remarriage, blending family, and how she rebuilds after decades under Kody's control. Janelle's independence, a series highlighting her journey into financial freedom, her relationships with her kids, and the quiet strength fans rallied behind. Cody and Robin, the reckoning, not framed as a romantic love story, but as the unraveling of the empire. Court cases, financial issues, and the public outcry would be the focus storyline. But here is where it gets really unexpected. The cancellation wasn't an accident. It was a part of the plan. By making fans think Sister Wives Season 20 was dead, TLC set the perfect stage to introduce this larger plan. Once the Browns are back, and not in one show form but in many, the buzz will be out of control. And as one insider reports, the first of these spin-offs might already be filming under a working title so hush that it hasn't even been associated with the Brown family in public yet. So what's this mysterious project called? And which family member has already signed on to lead it? The answer left even seasoned TLC employees speechless. Deep inside TLC's internal production schedule is a name that almost no one outside the network has heard. A bland, almost meaningless phrase, the kind you'd scroll past without a second thought. But insiders say that working title conceals the network's most sensational Brown family production yet. That title, We're Building Faith, on the surface. It might be anything. A generic documentary, a feel-good special. But sources reveal Rebuilding Faith is an intentional cover title for a Sister Wives Faye-affiliated series already in early stages of production. And the star at the helm of it. Not Kody, not Robyn. Christine, consider it. Christine is the one who got out. She is the one who got her groove back, remarried, and started a new life hundreds of miles from the madness of Flagstaff. Viewers view her as a survivor, a heroine, and for TLC, that means she is the ideal jumping-off point for a whole new show. But that is where it gets intriguing. The faith in the title isn't religious. Although Christine breaking away from Kody's fundamentalist framework is included, it is about faith in herself, faith in love, and faith in the future after years of being silenced. According to one insider, the pilot episode will center around Christine's wedding, incorporating footage that TLC shot but never showed on Sister Wives. Think about that for a moment. While her fans thought TLC was not filming her remarriage, the cameras were rolling. There is hidden footage, and now it might be employed as the basis for this new show. Seriously, more scandalous. Christine is not the only one who has been approached. According to sources, TLC has also approached Janelle with an offer to appear in Rebuilding Faith, but not as a co-star, rather as a regular voice of encouragement. If Janelle does sign, it will indicate to viewers that the two women most revered for their independence are now joining forces officially in a manner Kody could never have envisioned. And yet, the fact that there is Rebuilding Faith provokes a far greater question. If TLC is constructing a Christine-sustained spin-off, what becomes of Kody and Robyn? Would the network actually jeopardize alienating their original main characters? Or is a second, darker project in development? One that will reveal their downfall in a manner the flagship series never mustered the courage to? The solution might already be lurking in another confidential production document. If Christine is being positioned as the heroine of TLC's new chapter, then Kody and Robyn are being positioned in an entirely different capacity. And the working title that has been affixed to their speculated show is just as telling as Christine's. As per leaks, TLC has been producing a spin-off series under the working title Broken Vows. This show is not a do-over like Rebuilding Faith. This show is about the meltdown. Consider it: the financial ruin, the lawsuits, the troubled relationships with the children, and the constant finger-pointing allegations of manipulation. Rather than a love story, it is a cautionary tale, one that charts how the once dominant patriarch lost control of all things. And here's the twist. Sources say that TLC executives don't even anticipate Broken Vows will save Kody and Robyn. In fact, they reportedly view the couple as the villains of the expanded universe. By positioning them as the downfall, TLC can embrace the drama without whitewashing their reputation. But don't assume Kody is quietly embracing that role. Insiders reveal that Kody and Robyn battled the idea from the very beginning. Robyn allegedly had meltdowns in meetings, claiming TLC was attempting to destroy her family's reputation. Kody, on the other hand, supposedly threatened to pull out of all contracts if the series treated him like a victim of betrayal. The staring contest became so intense that lawyers intervened. TLC's legal team reminded Kody that he had already signed over clauses granting creative control to the network. In other words, whether he liked it or not, TLC could spin it how they wanted. And here is the most jaw-dropping detail yet. The pilot script for Broken Vows allegedly features clips of intense fights between Kody and his grown kids, moments that were shot but edited out of Sister Wives. Why? Undefined because they were too raw for the flagship show. Undefined no, those moments might be at the heart of the spin. Off, so while Christine reassembles her life in one show, Kody and Robyn might be required to replay their disintegration in another. Two faces of the same coin. Undefinite two programs benefiting from the same scandal. But this raises the next question. Undefined, where does that leave Meri and Janelle? Undefined, are they being excluded from TLC's expansion? Or is there a third surprise program already in the pipeline? Undefined, the answer could stun even the most faithful fans. If Christine stands for rebirth and Kody and Robyn define collapse, then Janelle and Meri are TLC's wild cards in their new plan. Both women have exited the Brown family model, but both, unlike Christine, haven't totally rewritten their own stories in public perception. That, according to insiders, is set to shift. As leaked scheduling notes reveal, TLC has been secretly working on ideas for a third venture under the working title, Standing Alone. The show would track both Janelle and Meri apart, not together as they build separate lives. For Janelle, that means financial independence. She's long been admired for her practical, grounded nature, but in the aftermath of her split from Kody, she's become a fan favorite. Sources claim TLC wants to highlight her resilience, paying off debts, managing property, and helping her children succeed outside the shadow of the Brown Empire. Meri's storyline, on the other hand, is all about emotional survival. After years of heartbreak and public humiliation, she has made moves toward personal empowerment. Leaked notes indicate the show would highlight her business ventures, from operating businesses to forging new relationships, all presented as a path to self-worth after decades of abandonment. And this is the twist: the standing alone premise isn't simply one of them moving on. It is also about creating a direct comparison to Robyn, where Robyn holds on for dear life to Kody, Janelle, and Meri embody independence. TLC is aware that fans are cheering for that contrast, and they're going to capitalize on it. But don't get hoodwinked into believing Standing Alone will be a soft series. Leaks indicate that it will revisit painful memories in the past, bringing never-seen-before footage of Janelle and Meri addressing Kody's favoritism, his financial tricks, and the manipulation that kept them in the shadows. That is, their empowerment will have receipts now, with 3 distinct shows reportedly in the works: Rebuilding Faith, Broken Vows, and Standing Alone. TLC seems to be setting up the Browns not as a family unit anymore, but rather broken narratives that tie into each other. And here's where things get dynamite. The network might not simply broadcast them sequentially. As one insider put it, they're thinking about dropping them side by side, building what essentially is a sister wives universe, with each week presenting a new installment from a fresh point of view. But if TLC is mapping out this kingdom, why even kick around the possibility of cancellation at all? The solution perhaps lies in a clandestine promotion plan no one anticipated. The million-dollar question is this: if TLC actually has all of these spin-offs in the works, why would they risk headlines blaring "Sister Wives cancelled"? Why create panic among viewers who have been keeping up with this family for more than a decade? The response, said one insider, is straightforward: reverse marketing. TLC is aware that nothing makes the public pay attention more quickly than the word cancelled. Social media went ablaze when it was reported that Season 20 would not be aired. Fans flooded YouTube, Reddit, and Facebook groups asking for explanations. Rumor pieces speculating about the death of the show dominated search rankings in television executives speak. That is earned media's free promotion without forking out a penny on advertising. But the twist: TLC didn't dispute the rumors. They neither confirmed nor denied them. They just sat on it, allowing the buzz to build, playing a cautious game of keeping mum on official comments. Why? Because doubt fuels fixation. Fans who are afraid of losing their guilty pleasure song switch on earlier and louder. When the network finally breaks the news, one of their former marketing consultants even intimated that cancellation leaks are occasionally planted deliberately. By whispering that the end could be in sight, the network creates emotional investment. Viewers who could have wandered away suddenly feel a sense of urgency. They binge past episodes, rewind dramatic moments, and jump into fan chat rooms to speculate. It is a strategy that pays off. When 19 Kids and Counting was under public fire, TLC doubled down on the controversy before shifting to Counting On. When Kate+8 faltered, cancellation rumors produced a special that garnered bigger ratings than an ordinary episode. The network is aware of how to use fan panic to their advantage. So when you read Sister Wives Season 20 cancelled, the reality could be that the show is not dead. Perhaps TLC is setting the audience up for an even greater reveal. Think about it: if they were to just announce spin-offs, fans might eye-roll. But if they first get the public to believe the show is over, the spin-offs then become a blessing, a revival, a resurrection fans didn't see coming but are desperate to have. And all the signs point towards TLC pulling the same trick. From conveniently timed leaks to accidental press references, nothing feels coincidental. Which brings us to the larger question: what is the network hiding behind this smokescreen? Because rumors hint it is not only spin-offs, it could be a total rebrand, one that shifts the narrative of the Brown saga for good. Behind all the buzz about cancellation, spin-off, and leaked reports, there is another theory emerging. TLC is not only splitting the Browns into smaller shows, they might be reframing the whole franchise. Consider this. For years, Sister Wives peddled one thing: a big, tight polygamist family struggling with the ups and downs of faith and love. But that narrative imploded long ago, with 3 of the 4 wives deceased, and the patriarch in full-blown freefall. There is no family unit to peddle, but the drama. It is more potent than ever. That is where the rebrand comes in. Insiders say the network has been quietly testing the waters with moves to take Sister Wives away from plural marriage and closer to a courtroom docudrama. Rather than emphasizing faith or family harmony, the new path would emphasize legal warfare, financial scandal, and public humiliate. If true, it helps to account for why so much of the leaked content is about lawsuits, fraud allegations, and jaw-dropping verdicts. TLC is aware that audiences are addicted to watching Cody and Robin cornered, embarrassed, and embarrassed. They have discovered that the drama of courtrooms provides the types of cliffhangers that classic family narratives no longer can. And here is where it becomes interesting. Branding papers unearthed by fans indicate the working title, Brown v. Brown. The idea? A meta-series that weaves all of the spin-offs into one big legal epic, presenting them as chapters in a gigantic legal saga. Rather than a family in love, it is a family destroying itself in contracts, courtrooms, and confessionals. TLC would not stop with court documents. However, according to sources, the network is also looking for archival footage and secret tapes. Recall the previously unknown scenes that allegedly featured Kody blowing his top off, camera, or the previously unseen footage of the wives questioning production about favoritism. In the rebrand, those moments wouldn't be a cameo, they'd be firepower. And as the cherry on top, TLC could add a new voice to the fray, a narrator, someone independent of the family, leading viewers through the chaos, like a documentary about a true crime. Visualize the Browns' collapse described less as a family docu-series and more like a courtroom drama. If this is where TLC is headed, then cancellation is purely a diversion. What is actually on the way is a franchise renewal. But the question nobody's pondering is this: how exactly does Kody and Robyn fit into this revised formula, if at all? Since whispers indicate the network can be ready to bench them entirely. After years of Kody and Robyn situating themselves as the hub of the sister wives world, Kody acted as if he was the patriarch of the family, while Robyn is the favorite wife, whose decisions appeared to dictate every large decision. But based on several leaks, TLC might no longer view them as necessary. Why? Because fans have flipped against them. Social media sentiment is the tale. Fan bases that used to argue over who Kody loved the most now spill over with disdain at his ego, his money mistakes, and the way he treats the other wives. Robyn, once the sympathetic new wife, is now caricatured as the enabler. Or worse, the mastermind of the family's demise. Producers are aware. Ratings data reportedly shows episodes centered on Kody and Robyn underperform, while episodes highlighting Christine, Janelle, or Meri's independence get shared, clipped, and replayed. The network understands one brutal fact: the patriarch and favorite wife storyline no longer sells. But there's another layer. Rumors suggest Robyn has grown increasingly difficult behind the scenes. One of the past cast members supposedly complained that she attempted to manage how she was presented, requesting cuts that made her look better. Kody himself is said to object to being filmed unless he can set the record straight. Both stances contradict TLC's shift toward revealing raw drama. So what is the solution? Gradually phase them out. The rebrand plan might sideline Kody and Robyn by emphasizing the wives' wins, the children's viewpoints, and courtroom surprises that leave the couple scrambling in defense. Rather than featuring them as an anchor, the shows might present them as a roadblock, a character whose ruin propels the show ahead, but no longer commands screen time. Frankly, even some insiders speculate that TLC is screening episodes with no Kody sightings. If ratings persist, that puts the network in the driver's seat, evidence that audiences no longer need him. Naturally, this begs a giant question. If TLC sidelines the two individuals who once were the glue of the franchise, how does the story continue? Perhaps the key lies in a hidden goldmine: the kids. A number of grown-up kids are said to be negotiating with producers. And if TLC is committed to crafting a long-term Brown universe, moving the spotlight to the next generation might be the most intelligent and surprising step yet. If the wives are all about independence and Kody and Robyn are all about collapse, the kids might be the solution to keeping the franchise going. And make no mistake, fans are hungry to hear their side of the story. For over a decade, the kids of sister wives have been supporting characters. We've seen them grow up on camera, but their voices were often muted. Kody and the wives controlled the narrative, while the children served as background to family drama. But now, since the family is broken up, those same kids carry stories that can upend everything. Take Peden, for instance. Christine's son has already gone public, blasting Kody for favoritism and sharing off camera information that TLC left on the cutting room floor. His raw candor illuminated fan forums, and producers sat up and took notice. What if more kids decide to tell their truths? Then there is Gwendolyn, who has dismantled family dynamics in real time on her own platforms. Her observations are raw, sometimes brutal, and always engrossing. Fans regard her as the unvarnished teller the show never had. Imagine if TLC provided her with that platform officially. And it is not just Christine's kids. Janelle's sons have been vocal about conflicts with Kody, with one alleged blow-up becoming so heated that it nearly broke production. Meri's child, Leon, has charted their own path entirely, distancing themselves from the chaos, while still drawing curiosity from longtime viewers. Even Robyn's children, shielded for years, are beginning to face questions about what life in the spotlight really meant. This is the untapped storyline. The kids embody various viewpoints: loyalty, rebellion, healing, and disillusionment. And unlike their parents, they're not bound by Kody's command. They can talk freely, and there are fans who are dying to hear what they have to say. According to rumors from inside production, TLC has already shot test material with a number of adult kids. Undefined first reactions. Undefined electric. One insider apparently said, "The audience will get the truth in ways that they didn't know was possible." If TLC is serious about creating a long-term Brown universe, centering the children is the organic next step. They're identifiable to younger audiences. They're still carrying around unresolved trauma, and they're holding receipts for what actually went down behind closed doors. And yet, putting them in the spotlight introduces a perilous dilemma. How much of the Brown parents' record is going to be in jeopardy if their children blow it all open? The more that focus falls on the children, the higher the risk for the parents, particularly Kody and Robyn. For more than a decade, they've dictated the narrative. TLC shot what they permitted, edited to suit their requirements, and stashed painful realities in the vault. With the children coming into the limelight, though, that command is going out the window quickly. Fans already notice fissures. Pardon alleged that his father's patriarchal dictates drove the family apart. Gwendolyn had testified to moments of favoritism so flagrant they constituted cruelty. Janelle's sons have suggested financial deals that favored Robyn at the expense of others. Each revelation erodes the well-crafted image the Browns once projected to the world. And here is the risk. Once the curtain has been pulled back, it is nearly impossible to close. If they glimpse unedited glimpses of the Browns' dysfunction, then the classic TLC trope of quirky but loving family is lost forever. In its stead, you have something more sinister. A reputation built not on harmony, but on deceit. Insiders say this is precisely what TLC is considering at present. Do they risk sullying the brand by allowing the children to talk openly, or do they double down on it, hoping that viewers will tune in for the drama? Initial test screenings allegedly favored the latter. Fans weren't deterred by the drama, they were addicted. But this is the kicker. Kody supposedly knows this, and he is upset about it. One insider who works with production says he has threatened to quit if TLC lets his kids have too much say in what is shown. His concern? That their stories will make him the series' unquestioned villain, without any hope of redemption. Robyn, for her part, is reportedly afraid of having her children brought into the storm. She has battled for years to keep them from harsh judgment. But if TLC makes the turn toward a tell-all-style series, that shielding could be gone. The stakes are higher than ever. If it works, the franchise might become something greater and more aggressive than fans ever dreamed. But if it doesn't, Kody and Robyn's reputations, which were already on thin ice, will never be the same. And that brings us to the final, most urgent question: is TLC prepared to torch the Browns' legacy for the sake of ratings gold? So is Sister Wives Season 20 cancelled, or is TLC secretly constructing something larger? After rummaging through leaks, rumors, and insider speculation, one thing appears certain. Cancellation isn't the conclusion, it is the setup. The clues indicate a masterfully staged strategy. In the first step, cause panic through rumor of cancellation, make the fans lament the demise of their guilty pleasure. Next, strike with a tsunami of announcements. Spin-offs for Christine, Janelle, and Meri, courtroom-based specials, and maybe even a complete rebrand as a darker, more dramatic multiverse that doesn't have to be about Kody anymore. The cancellation question, then, is less a matter of if TLC is pulling the plug and more a question of if they're flipping the switch, to transition from a tale of polygamy to a tale of collapse, from unity to fallout, from family life to survival. And then there's the Browns themselves. Kody and Robyn might think they're still at the forefront, but indicators point to TLC having other plans. If they're phased out, it is a tale of justice, empowerment, and redemption, with the wives and children leading the franchise forward. If they're not, then it is about collapse, shame, and denial. In either case, the drama doesn't meet its demise in Season 20. It transforms for fans. This creates a strange kind of suspense. On the one hand, the show we've known for over a decade might truly be gone. On the other hand, something bigger, darker, and possibly more addictive could be waiting in its place. So when you see headlines shriek "Sister Wives cancelled," don't believe it. Ask yourself, who stands to gain by that news? Because at the moment, the answer appears self-evident: TLC. They have control of the leaks, the timing, and the disclosures. And if history is any indicator, They're leading us down one of the most dramatic realities reality television has ever executed. The Brown saga is not ending. It is evolving. The only real question is if the fans will go along with the change, or finally part ways with the mess for good. One thing's for sure, in the universe of reality television, nothing ever really ends. The cameras might cut off for a few seconds, but so long as there is scandal to be revealed, secrets to be exposed, and ratings to be hunted, TLC will manage to keep the Brown family drama in motion. So cancelled, maybe reborn? Almost certainly. And if the leaks are true, the best or the worst is still to come. You'd think the question of cancellation versus renewal would settle the debate. But in the world of sister wives, nothing is ever truly resolved, even after whispers of spin-offs, legal docuseries, and rebranding plans. One lingering truth remains: the Browns are still a goldmine of untold stories. Behind the cameras, there are deals. Years and years of deals, money ties, and NDAs that might decide just how much reality ever finds its way onto television. Some insiders have suggested that some of the most salacious facts, the sort that might turn opinion around overnight, are hidden away in sealed files TLC might only share if it is convenient for their story. Then there are the side characters, the voices we've barely heard from, extended family members, former church leaders, friends, who watch the Browns rise and fall from the outside. Fans forget that Sister Wives was never just about the core household. The ripple effects of Kody's decisions touched entire communities, and some of those voices are rumored to be lining up, ready to tell their stories. And then there is the potential for external actors. Other channels, competitor producers, even the streaming titans might attempt to make their own claim. Picture Netflix or Hulu dropping a true crime-type expose called The Browns, The Untold Files. TLC might have possession of the footage, but they do not have control over the American desire for the spectacle of America's most prominent polygamist clan's collapse. Which brings us to the actual cliffhanger. Where does it all end? The Browns have been living on camera for more than a decade. Every victory, every betrayal, every tear has been shared with the world. If season 20 is the final one under the Sister Wives umbrella, it doesn't necessarily mean the story is done. It just means the story will be presented in a different way, possibly by different people, with different stakes. So perhaps the real question isn't if Sister Wives is cancelled. Perhaps the actual question is this: who gets to write the last chapter? TLC, the wives, the children, or the fans who've already shown they'll analyze every leak, every headline, and every rumor, until the truth finally reveals itself. The Browns' drama isn't over. It is getting into its most unpredictable chapter ever, and the cameras, TLC's or someone else's, keep on rolling. When we're discussing Sister Wives being cancelled or reincarnated, there is one detail that most fans overlook: the Browns don't own their storyline, TLC does. Every agreement signed along the way granted the network unusual control, not only over filming, but over how the footage could be shaped, packaged, and repeated. This brings up a huge question. If season 20 wraps up, do the Browns even have the right to share their story without TLC's permission? Contract experts say probably not. Most reality veterans are bound by contracts that restrict what they can share years after the cameras cease filming, those never-before-seen tapes audiences fantasize about. Unless TLC wants to dish them out, they can remain buried for good. But this is where things get ugly. Leaks indicate a number of the adult children have never signed long-term contracts. They came on camera as minors on their parents' deals, but when they reached age 18, their involvement was voluntary. That would mean Peden, Gwendolyn, and others are actually free to talk without TLC's permission. And that freedom could tear it all apart. TLC is aware of this, and insiders feel that the network is in a hurry to secure deals with the most vocal kids. The risk: if TLC doesn't act quickly enough, another network or even the kids themselves may leak their own tell-all material. Think of a YouTube show or podcast where they dish out dirty laundry TLC has kept secret for years. And what about the Browns? Their hands could be tied. Cody and Robin are said to still be keeping body and soul together on the basis of TLC's payments, and therefore are unlikely to risk a court battle. Christine, Janelle, and Meri, however, might be glad to share their tales somewhere else. But if they're still under gag contracts, going off message could lead to lawsuits. So who actually owns the Sister Wives saga, the network with its treasure trove of footage and bulletproof contracts? Or the family whose lives can never be fully managed? That tension is the actual battle nobody's discussing, because whether Season 20 gets cancelled or rebranded, the war between the Browns and TLC for narrative control might have only just begun. And if history is precedent, fans won't simply sit back and watch it happen. They'll make it happen. So finally, after all the speculation, the leaks, the rumors, and the marketing fog banks, where are we? Is Sister Wives Season 20 really cancelled? Or is TLC set to make its most brazen reality television move ever? The truth appears to lie somewhere in between. The cancellation buzz was never about ending the show. It was about restarting it. TLC is aware the Browns are not anymore the cohesive family they introduced to America during Season 1. Marriages are in pieces. The matriarch has lost control, and the sympathy of the viewers has shifted to the women and children who escaped. That change isn't the end of the franchise. It is its progression. We've traced the outlines of what may come, spin-offs for Christine, Janelle, and Meri, possible specials focused on legal battles and financial scandals, even whispers of a full-scale rebrand that could transform Sister Wives into something darker, more investigative, and more compelling than ever. But we've also uncovered the dangers. The kids are old enough to talk, and their words might redefine, or completely dismantle, the tightly controlled TLC narrative. Kody and Robyn are on the precipice of becoming relics, their power diminished by poor decisions and worse publicity. And looming above it all is a question of law: who actually owns the Brown family narrative? The network that filmed it or the people who lived it? That's the cliffhanger. Not whether Season 20 exists, but whether the Browns themselves have any control over what comes next. For fans, the uncertainty is part of the draw. Every rumor sparks debate. Every headline keeps the saga alive. Every whispered leak fuels the sense that we're only scratching the surface of a story, too messy to end cleanly. And perhaps that is the true secret here. The Browns' lives have transcended any single season, transcended any single contract, even transcended TLC itself. No matter whether the show keeps its original name, fragments into spin-offs, or returns under a brand. New title: the story will not die for the Browns. Broken, controversy-ridden, and ceaselessly dramatic, have become a reality television mythology. So is Sister Wives cancelled, perhaps on paper, perhaps in a press release, but in the hearts of viewers, in the warehouses of TLC, and in the non-stop wave of new information, the saga is just beginning. If anything, it is only just starting.